Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast here at New Beginnings title called InTitled New Beginnings. I am Kelly Ibarra, and today we are here with our special guest for our special edition of New Year, New Guest. And I am here with
Maggie Alvarez with the Dream Property.
Thank you so much, Maggie, for being here today.
Thank you for having
me. And Maggie is not only one of our incredible clients, an incredible real estate agent, but also an incredible friend.
Oh, thank you.
So what better than to have someone who is family here in our podcast. So to get started, Maggie, the reason why I brought you here is because I think you have a great, beautiful story of your real estate journey, right? And I always think that it's important to hear these stories because, you know, you could be sharing something important with the people who are watching this. And also, you know, we like to hear the success stories, the horror stories in real estate.
We have them all.
We have them all, and we always like to keep it real here. So,
perfect.
To get started, tell us, you know, a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in the real estate industry?
Great. Okay, so I got started in the real estate realm when I was 17 years old. As a senior in high school, I had the opportunity to take some classes. One of the classes in particular was called on-job training, where you would get X amount of hours to be able to find a job, and you would leave school early 3 days a week. That was me. And I literally just got a call one day. One of my family members got an opportunity to work at a leasing office in an apartment complex, and she declined it because that wasn't her path, but she recommended me. And since the age of 17, I've been working property management. That's how I got into the game. I started as a leasing person, a leasing agent, and then relocated to Orlando and was doing leasing and kind of climbed up the whole property management ladder. Was a leasing manager, got into assistant managing, and then when I realized it, I was like, I need to do my own thing. How can I transition this into doing my own thing? And the next natural step was real estate.
Nice.
So that about explains it.
And so you've been in real estate since the age of 17, which is incredible, right?
Yeah.
Because most people, I feel like the way that they kind of fall into real estate is when they feel like stuck and they just want to be free, and it's usually at an older age, but you started pretty young.
Yeah.
And you know, for a while, I know I met you, I had the opportunity to meet you when you were kind of in that phase of like, I should become a broker, but I don't know. But So how did you transition from finally making that jump from just being your typical real estate agent to now becoming your own broker?
To tell you the truth, to be completely transparent with you, it was...
the commission splits.
That was it later down the line, but I actually got my broker's license 6 years before I opened up my own brokerage.
Wow.
So what led me to get my broker's license was anger. And I know it sounds pretty messed up. It sounds messed up, but it was more frustration than anger, I will say. But at that point in time, when I got my license to become a broker, and I in no way, shape, or form was I interested at that point in time to have my own brokerage, was because my broker at the time made a comment to me about, well, I'm the broker and I know best. And I was like, okay, cool, but like explain it to me. Like, I just need you to like help me out here. And he was like, well, when you're a broker, you'll understand. So I said, okay. I got so mad. And to me, there's always a silver lining in any situation. And I try to always think of the positive in any scenario. But that frustration fueled the fire for me wanting to have and get my broker's license.
That's amazing.
I got it preemptively, and I was just being mad and just proving a point.
Yeah.
And it took me a couple years to actually, open up my own firm. I just opened it September of 2023. Yay! But even that was, a process in itself. So yes, that's how I got my license. And then 2023, on January of 23, I transitioned from a brokerage that I really absolutely loved. I was with them for many years, but I wanted to relocate back to Orlando because I had moved out of the area. And January of 23, I saw how much money I gave the brokerage company that I was under, and zero support, zero anything. Like,
you didn't get back. They didn't give back
nothing. I didn't have anything, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I have zero support. I could do bad all by myself.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of that was another frustrating point that led me to do my own thing. And of course, 100% commission was the motivation, and then just not having support. I'm like, I can do this. If I don't have support and the only thing you're offering is an office, I can find an office. I'm gonna still be on my own and figure it out.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
Well, that's amazing. And it's funny that you say you were fueled by anger.
Yeah.
Because usually people are like, oh, well, I was, usually it's like a good story where it's like, I was doing so well, I figured I could do this on my own. But like, the reality is, yes, there are moments where it's like shit's hitting the fan and you're like, okay, like, how am I going to get myself out of this?
Yeah.
And that's still a beautiful success story.
Yeah.
So, something also that I know and admire is that, when you started, I feel like when people start a business or even a brokerage, because I've met so many people that have become brokers, but then they fail or they want to start too big and then it gets in their head and then they're kind of like screwed. Something that I see you've been able to do, you've already had your own brokerage for a couple years now, is you've slowly eased into it.
Yeah.
You just cruised. And like, I don't know if cruise would be a good word, but cruise in a positive way.
Yeah.
Right? You're a very positive person and you've attracted those positive things. So now you have a team.
Now I have a team.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, wow. So to piggyback off of what you said, it's attraction, 100%. I did not recruit anyone. I wasn't like, hey, I opened up a firm, join me. I actually drew in these people, these agents, but one of them I met, he wasn't licensed or anything. So it was just attraction. One of the agents I actually met at a networking event, and we just instantly hit it off. We just clicked and we started talking and we exchanged information, and we met up a couple months later. We're gonna do lunch, and in that lunch, that agent tells me that he's about to let go of his real estate license. I'm like, what do you mean you're gonna let go of your real estate license? Like, why? And of course, he had his own story and journey on how he got there. But I was like, you've worked so hard to get here. Now you're just going to let it go?
You're crazy.
Like, no, that's not going to happen. So I was in a position where I was able to kind of give him a pep talk. And I completely switched the scenario, like 180. He did renew his license. I actually helped him a bit to get there, but that's fine. Like, that's what it's all about, right? And so he then was like, that's it. I want to join you. I see your vision. I see how you are. I want to be part of your team. So that was one of them. And then the other agent who signed up under me, he actually purchased his property with me a couple months ago. And
amazing.
he was telling me he wanted to get his real estate license. I was like, you should totally get it. Like, what's stopping you? Go ahead and do it. And he got his license. He passed the exam on his first try, which that's a big deal for me. I boast about that.
That's beautiful.
But he got it and he signed up under me. So now we're agency of 3 agents. And then of course supporting like transaction coordinators, photographers, inspectors, and stuff like that. But the team, it's the 3 of us.
Nice. And I love that, because I think a misconception that people sometimes have in their heads is, I need to go with the agency that has a whole bunch of agents, or they're a bigger agency or something like that. But that necessarily doesn't always mean that that's going to be the best agency just because they have a whole bunch of agents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes when you're smaller, you have more of that catered service, more of that personal service, more of that close, tight-knit group where you guys are able to help each other. And it's not to say that you have less resources than the major agency.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend that he was like, my aunt's looking for a house, but like, I know this guy and he's like a big agency. And I'm like, dude, look for the agents that are going to literally take care of you.
Yeah.
You know, and help you and get through it and do all that, the training and all that stuff. You know, because that doesn't necessarily mean the bigger the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, sometimes the best thing come in small packages.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is beautiful, and you know, so proud of you. I really applaud that.
It's been a journey, but
and
yes.
I know I bet it has been. And I do want to ask you, because I always like to share, you know, we always share success stories.
Yeah.
But I also like to hear the crazy stories.
Yeah.
You know, because I think people also need to like understand that, you know, yes, everything we see on the outside is like, it's great and beautiful. And we always, you know, we look at you, you're successful, you're doing great. But behind that, you know, things happen.
Oh yeah, for sure. And whoever says otherwise, lucky them.
Yeah. No, because, you know,
I don't know if that's always the case.
I think the best way to grow is to go through those like turbulences.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. You're growing through life. You're not going through life. You're growing through life.
So what has been your craziest transaction or story in real estate?
Ooh. I would say there's been a couple, top like 2. Listen, I've been doing real estate since 2013, so we're in 2025. It's been a couple craziness. But anyway, let me think. I think the craziest transaction, and it's so sad because all of it went to beep, like the last bit, but it was a lovely family. They were relocating. They wanted to go out of state, and so, you know, she wanted to sell her property to relocate. The people who were going to purchase her property were also selling their home to be able to buy her home. So the buyers were selling their home to then turn around and buy her home.
Domino effect,
which is very common. I have a lot of people ask me, like, how does that work? And it must be so crazy. It's really not. It's not. It's really not. It's quite simple and
it's really
common. So because she was selling, the buyers were selling their property to then purchase her home. Of course, that did delay because the goal was to close on the same day. And we call that a double closing, when you close in the morning and then in the afternoon you do your second closing. But the sale of her home, the sale of the buyer's home was going through an attorney's office. And we were set to close on a Friday. And because the attorney didn't necessarily move in the pace in which we would have liked.
Oh God.
The transaction ended up taking place, her purchase ended up taking place the following business day, which was a Monday. So, of course, the seller was very upset, and I do want to give a major shout out to the team here at New Beginnings Title, because we were all hoping, we were backing each other up, and obviously telling the client, hey, we want this transaction to be done, because the seller's like, where's my money? I want my money. What's going on? And of course, that's part of the we're dealing with roofs and money, like two of the most important things, right? And so this particular client got so upset, and I told her, I was like, if you want to talk to anyone and voice your frustration, you need to contact your buyer's title company. Our title company is just waiting to get the funds from them in order for us to give the funds to you. But we cannot give you funds if we have not received said funds. So it was a beautiful property, beautiful family that purchased, awesome sellers. But because of that little inconvenience, which really had nothing to do either with myself, with the seller, with the buyer, the title companies. It's just what happens sometimes with the attorney. And I mean, we were calling the attorney. Like, hey attorney, if we weren't going to close on set time or set date, then just let us know. That way we know. But
keep the communication.
Oh, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. And then we didn't get it done that day. And then it's Friday. So then Saturday, Sunday, guess who's getting calls? Where's my money? Da, 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 da. So I hate to point it out, but that has been one of the negative stories that I can say. Other than that, the majority of the time it's very smooth. Obviously things happen and we have hiccups that we have to just endure, and that's just part of the process. What I tell clients up front is, this journey for your sale, your purchase, is going to be as unique as you are. There are not two same transactions, and we have to roll with the punches.
ever.
And we have to maintain that professionalism and that positivity in order to let the client feel at ease. She wasn't at ease, although I tried, but we did everything we could have done to try to let her know, hey, we don't have the money yet. That's why you haven't gotten paid. Please contact this person. And oh my God, Mel. Shout out to Mel. Mel's my darling, because she was really having to deal with that, the spicy seller.
Yeah, you know, and it sucks because I feel like people don't understand that in title, we usually get like the bad end of the stick, right? Because we always get, of course, the fingers are always pointed at us because we're the people holding the money.
Yeah.
So they're like, where's my money? This and that. And we have to, you know, deal with these consequences. But, you know, I'm glad to know that this has been like your worst case scenario because it's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. I can't say it's been.
So, you know, I think there's, you know, been a lot of crazy stories, but this one I would say it's pretty common.
Happens,
But, you know, don't be scared of these types of transactions.
You can't be.
You know, real estate is real estate, and that's why, you know, not everyone survives in real estate.
Absolutely.
But here we are today as a broker with your team.
Yes.
And that is amazing.
Thank you.
Now, last and final question that I have for you. You're on the beach. You're relaxing.
Okay. In Punta Cana.
Okay, Punta Cana. So we know she wants to be in Punta Cana.
Or Mexico. I love Mexico.
What cocktail is in your hand?
Oof. I would say, how do you say I do not know the name of it. I might butcher it.
Okay.
Caipirinha. I will definitely have a caipirinha. Caipirinha on my hand. Brazilian lemonade. My best friend came to visit me last time she came by, and it's just you remove or you cut off the ends of the lemon, and with the lemon peel on them, you throw it in a blender with the Brazilian type of drink. It's like a white,
yeah.
I don't know if it's vodka, exactly. It's something light. It's got to be tequila or vodka with sugar.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And in Brazil, they use sugarcane. So I was in Brazil in September.
Ooh.
And my friend, she had her wedding in Brazil. It was a beautiful wedding. And that was the cocktail for the boat party.
In Brazil, heck yeah. It
was delicious. They made it with a strawberry, like they had like different flavors, strawberry and kiwi. Ooh. They had like a lemonade one, just like the original. And then they had one that was like watermelon mint. Oh, it was amazing.
The mints,
But they also gifted us, for us to take home, a caipirinha bottle. Oof. Oh no, not caipirinha, cachaça. It's called cachaça.
I think that's what I'm talking about, the white liquor.
Yes, the white liquor.
Yeah.
So I have original cachaça.
So you're inviting me over.
From Brazil. So next time, I'll bring it.
Yes.
And
sounds
they were
amazing.
giving us straight shots, which is brutal. But we can make some original caipirinhas with some cachaça brought from Brazil. I will invite you next time.
Thank you. I love that.
Well, Maggie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You know, if anyone's interested in getting to know Maggie a little bit more, to do business with Maggie, if you're selling, if you're buying, you know, she's also a great realtor, has a great team, rentals. Her team, they're great at rentals as well. She helps people like from the beginning to the end and get you to that buying process. We will be sharing her information.
Yes.
And, you know, also like, subscribe, follow, what else? Comments, do all the social media stuff. Follow us on social media. I'll have her information right when this video ends. And Maggie, again, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Thank you for your loyalty, for being our amazing client. And we can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for you.
Positive things, a lot of great things. I already feel it.
Yes, amen. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Bye.